Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode. This is Dr. Latifat, aka MoneyFit MD. Thank you for tuning in and watching me today. As you know, I'm a physician and I'm also a money coach. And what that means is that I help women physicians create financial freedom. So today's episode is a very interesting topic to me. And the reason why is because it's something that comes up all the time. So I work with women physicians. I do that in one-on-one groups, and I also do that as part of my twice a year financial freedom group program. And usually, as part of the intake form that I do for women that I coach, whether that's one-on-one or through even my webinars and talks, is I like to know why people are trying to get their money right. I want to know what their number one money challenges are. I want to know what they're trying to create and what they're trying to achieve. Something that comes up a lot is passive income. I want to create passive income. Okay, so I think that's great because I'm all for women physicians diversifying our sources of income. And I want us all to have multiple sources because if there's anything at all that we've learned from 2020, 2021 with COVID is the fact that no one job is protected, right? So medicine for the longest was, recession proof, but it's not pandemic proof. A lot of physicians and healthcare workers lost their source of income. They had to cut down their hours and just a lot of financial stress in general over the last year or so. So for those that had multiple sources of income, this has been a great buffer because at least it decreased the impact. Okay, so passive income keeps coming up over and over again, and this is great. I love it, right? However, what I'm also finding is that we now have this misconception about what passive income is. Passive income is not passive. I'm going to repeat that. Passive income is not passive. And if this is the first time you're hearing that, sorry to burst the bubble. It's not. So okay, I'm going to step back for a second. There are certain things that may be passive. However, whatever it is you want to invest your money into, there is going to be some amount of work that goes into it. Why is this important? I want to make sure we know the terminologies that we use it, and I want to make sure we all know what we're getting into. So for example, I've been part of like real estate circles where people have said, oh, I didn't know this was going to be work. I didn't know this was going to be, it's going to take this amount of learning, whatever it is, whether it's active or passive real estate, right? So these things are not completely hands off. The way that I define passive income is that I define it as something that makes you income without you exchanging your money for time in a one-to-one ratio. So as physicians, a lot of times we see patients, you get your reimbursement, you get paid in exchange for the time that you spend encountering or taking care of the patient, right? However, what I always tell people is that you need to make sure that when you're looking at ways of earning an income and diversifying your income, you truly are doing something that feels organic and right to you. Right. And for a lot of people, when you're investing your time in clinical practice, doing something else that's going to limit you in terms of like one-to-one ratio actually does limit the amount of income that you can make because there's only so much hours in 24 hours. I mean, there's only 24 hours in one day, 24 hours. You get my point, right? So the point is that there's only so much time that you have in a day. So if you're thinking that you can only earn money by spending your time and getting paid in exchange with dollars or whatever currency you earn wherever you're watching this, it limits the amounts that you're able to make. So in fact, when I coach people like coaches, and whether you're a coach or wellness coach, whatever it is, I always try to help people reframe their mind in terms of changing from thinking of my payment per hour instead of thinking about the payment in terms of value given, value added. So I'll give you another example. If you're creating, in fact, this is a very specific example. I was watching Shark Tank. This was, I think, was a year or 2 years ago. An ophthalmologist came on Shark Tank, which is super exciting. Anytime I see a physician on Shark Tank, I get very excited. So this time the ophthalmologist was on there to pitch what she had created. And it was really interesting because I think it's a great example. She talked about how she was seeing her patients in clinic, and then she had this great idea and she had to learn how to sew. And when she would get home, she would sew at night. And that's how she was able to create this product. And then once she created the product, she started selling it. And as she made more income from that, she started to set up systems so that she's not actively trading her time in for the money that she's earning, right? Because if she was going to only sell the things she's able to make by herself, that's going to limit the extent of her growth. Right? But now what she's done is she's created systems in place. So she's hiring people that can do that work, and she can step back and be more of the CEO of the company so that what she's making is not a one-to-one ratio in terms of the amount of income that she's able to gain. Right? But if you think about it only from the perspective of her as a CEO, you're going to think this is easy job, right? However, what she's done is invested time ahead. She's invested time in terms of creating the product, designing the product, building the team, and now she does more of an upper management level type responsibility, if that makes sense to you. So the same thing happens when it comes to other types of investment. If you're going to invest in real estate, even if it's passive real estate, you still have to do the work of seeking the companies that you're going to invest with. You want to look at their reputation, you want to look at their history, you want to read all the fine print of the paperwork you're getting. So my point is this: passive income refers to the fact that you're earning income that is not a one-to-one ratio in terms of the time that it's expended in it. In fact, if you invest in the stock market, you do want to do some checks on that as well, right? And yes, once you get the vehicle rolling, once you get the things rolling, then you're not spending as much time. So just keep that in mind, because it's important for us to really, really talk about this and make sure that we have the right expectations of what we mean by passive income. But I'd really like to hear from you guys. What's your thought? Is this your definition of passive income? Passive income, is it separate? Is it different? I would be curious to hear. As always, if there's any way I can help you, let me know, moneyfeedmd@gmail.com. And by the way, if you haven't heard yet, or you've heard and you haven't checked it out yet, I have created a mini course that is amazing. And the idea behind the mini course is that I created this 4 steps to financial freedom for women physicians. The reason why I created this is because the more time that I spend in the financial space, the more I learn about finances, the more I realize the fact that we have not been taught how to think about money, right? And so this videos that I made, it's amazing. I want you to be very careful about the fact that it's free. I'm giving it to you free, but that does not mean that it doesn't have value. This product will easily sell for a couple of hundreds of dollars, but I'm making it free. But I do want you to use it. I want you to learn it, and I want you to make sure you take action. If you want to download this, it's moneyfeedmd.com/freedom. moneyfeedmd.com/freedom. I would love to hear what you think about it. As always, a pleasure chatting with you guys. Have a fabulous rest of the week, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.